I can't hear you. Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech. We have a lot to cover today. Sling TV is on the rise. Fox has a new streaming platform, and Black Panther demolished everything, decimated everything. Let's get it.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live's Geek Nerd Tech.
Woo! Come on,
go ahead.
Come on.
Go ahead. You
Let's
go,
do
I'll
it.
go.
Come on, bro.
You go,
Drive
I'll go.
slow. Drive slow.
Don't just
Come on.
just say it with the words.
Welcome to Black Hollywood Live. This is Geek Nerd Tech. We are in the place to be. Back in the building, my main man, Ryan Holland.
What's up? What's up, dog?
Yeah, man.
Can I hear some bars?
Yeah, you can hear some bars. Yo,
From you.
All right. Hey, man.
Scared money don't make no money, man.
I do have to ask you, though. Kanye West, thumbs up, thumbs down. Were you ever a fan? His evolution, do you like where he's at? Kind of give me your 2 bits on that.
Before Kanye start rivaling Jesus, I loved what he was doing. I liked his movement.
Yeah.
I thought he had some soulful rap, a little ignorant, but like some cognitive bars within what he was doing, and he went off the planet, man. I
Would
don't
you
know
give
what.
him the moniker or being the Michael Jackson of our time?
No.
Meaning, really? Who would be the Michael
you
Jackson
you
of our
don't
time?
understand how far he lost me. I went to a concert
I remember this.
where he blurted out, "I am God," about a god, whatever, about probably for 15 minutes straight, and I just tuned out like I couldn't in my soul.
Turned
It was
you
hard
off.
to listen to that. And then they were doing little seances in the background and little demons going around, and I don't know what it quite meant, but I just know
It didn't
I
resonate
like
with
it.
you. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, man, to each his own. I mean, I think Kanye West is a genius. I think
The new Kanye or the old Kanye?
I think just
or-
the Kanye period. Like, I think just his evolution as an artist, what he's been able to do, fashion, music.
So you can put out bad music and it still makes you great?
I wouldn't agree that he's put out bad music. That's a
He's
bold
put out
statement.
bad music.
Bad music.
I can't listen to
No,
it.
no one would argue that. No one would say he's put
It's
out
a fact.
bad
He's
music.
put out. He's started to
Definitely
put out stuff that stinks. Bad music.
His breadth of
Why
work.
you not playing some new Kanye?
His breadth of work is classic music.
Yes, it is classic. But why aren't you playing new Kanye
I do.
for a reason?
I do.
Stop it.
I do. I play all Kanye, every album.
You don't.
I do.
You don't, Akili.
I do.
How do you come on here? You'd have had some new Kanye on then.
I was feeling Drive Slow today.
Because it's a classic.
Yeah,
Because it's a
there's-
classic.
It's not classics on the last album. Anyway,
No.
let's get
Name
into
one.
it.
Name
Let's
one.
talk about what's not a classic. AT&T is demanding that the Justice Department hand over additional evidence to prove that President Trump did not wield his political influence over the agency. My question to you is, bruh, is this a conversation piece? Is this something that is interesting, that AT&T is getting into the business of demanding information from the Justice Department to see if Trump is improperly using his power or not?
No, it is, man. And these are the times that we live in. And apparently the powers at hand or overhead are kind of being called into question. And that the president has the ability to abuse human rights, to influence votes, to influence certain entities. Now it seems like these people are like coming back around and turning on him. And it's not to say that every president or our past, previous, and potentially future men in office wouldn't do the same. But there's just this landslide of just unrest with Trump. You know?
Definitely.
And he's brought a lot on his own, man. Kind of just willing this iron sword around, man. Just telling everybody, hey, what he is and he isn't. So, I mean, these stories, it's not just AT&T, man. That pops up everywhere.
Everywhere. I mean, and then the fact that, you have CNN, which is like one of Trump's, major opponents or whatever, or like he goes at CNN quite often saying that it's fake news and that CNN is a Time Warner property and it could be controlled by AT&T if there were to be a merger. And so by him being so adamant that, CNN is fake news and, how they only cover certain things and like all that is kind of a part of why AT&T is like, nah, we want to make sure that, you are not manipulating, the public. And so, yeah, what you're saying is absolutely right. Like we see this story more often than not. And just interesting to get your take on it. But I think what is dope about AT&T is that they will be one of the first companies to offer at least 12 U.S. cities 5G wireless. That's gonna change the game, bro.
Is it really?
Well, tell me why it won't. 5G, like speed it up. Come
I'm
on.
not saying that it isn't. I'm glad it's faster, but I felt the same way about 3G, about 4G. I mean, my signal still cuts off. I can't tell necessarily what is faster. Maybe my phone is just kicking at a higher rate and I won't notice because my phone is advanced, and that's what you'll need to actually be working at a regular speed. So for right now, it doesn't excite me, but it seems like something I'm just gonna have to have if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I think the big thing is that when you talk about 3G, in those times we had maybe one device. Versus now we have like 15 devices. You got it on your wrist, you got your iPad, your phone, you got all your Internet of Things, your Waymo switches, your Alexas, your Google Homes, all that stuff. All that is a part of the 5G ecosystem. So you need the type of latency and bandwidth to be able to.
Have you ever tried to stream in 3G like recently?
I have not.
It's horrible. Like it doesn't work, and that used to be the norm.
I know.
So just how. Like, I don't know if you're going to really notice, or is it just going to be like, well, if you don't have it, your stuff won't work properly.
Well, then you would notice. I mean,
send more for you to spend money on.
Hey, but I mean, come on, bro. Like our dependency on content, like being able to watch television on our phones seamlessly, or be able to have enormous amounts of information downloaded.
Bro, you
like,
know
we
how
need
I feel about this.
Tell me.
When you make me pay for information, when you make me pay for Wi-Fi, when you make me pay for speeds of Wi-Fi, I just feel like that's something like it's almost in the currency of water. Like, how do you make me pay for water? Like, to have clean water, like. God gave you water. Like obviously he didn't create Wi-Fi, but essentially it's a form of communication. Like everybody should be enabled free Wi-Fi or a normal speed of Wi-Fi. Like how fast? Like it should just work. I should have to pay for the best Wi-Fi.
Well, that's what we talk about, net neutrality with that, and everyone having access to the same speeds versus it being controlled by, the ISPs, the internet service providers, where, hey, depending on where you live or depending on, what you're paying for will determine or what website, either platform you're using will determine the speed of internet you get. But I think that's been a conversation we've had continuously on this program, discussing the inequality of that. And you're right, like information should be democratized. We should all have the same equal access to be able to have inspiration, because it fuels our dreams.
So
right?
That's what doesn't excite me about 5G.
Because what, you have to pay more than the next man? But every person has an opportunity to pay for it, though. I don't get it.
I just hate how prices are bumped on something that in our world has become a necessity. Your internet access is almost like water now. Like it's life and death for those of you in the business world. If you have to make an interaction, if you got to deal with a credit card payment or enrolling in school, like to do schoolwork, like you need Wi-Fi. So like I got to pay to do my schoolwork.
But having 5G doesn't mean you can't have a device that's 4G or
it's
even 3G.
It's a piece of the pie, bro. In my mind, it's a piece of the pie. It's not something you get taxed for.
So should every washer machine wash clothes at the same speed?
You don't need it. You can hand wash clothes, bro. You can hand wash clothes.
You could go to the library and read.
We're trending towards a situation in our world in which you're gonna need Wi-Fi for everything.
Correct.
And if not, so why do you get taxed for something you need?
Well, it's based on your device, though. If your device is 5G compatible, because your device may not even be 5G compatible. So if you have the new phone, I'm pretty sure it will be. But if you have an older phone, it may not even be
Slow
compatible.
Wi-Fi is the new broke. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like, hey,
you are.
I'm saying that if you have the opportunity to purchase it, you're not being controlled based on where you live or based on the fact that you have Netflix versus something else. Like you have the option to choose it or not to choose it. It's not an issue of anything else.
It's money, dog. And you're going aside the fact that why do I need to pay money for something that I should have?
So what you're arguing is that the internet should be free. You shouldn't have to pay anything. That's what you're saying here?
I don't
5G,
think so.
No
it should be a base rate. It should be a base rate. It shouldn't be inflated to the point that it is. I shouldn't be paying $200, $150 a month for internet on top of all the other things I have to pay for and maintain if this is something that I essentially need. And they could easily shoot out Wi-Fi everywhere. They could set up towers where Wi-Fi and internet accessibility hits everywhere, not just at Starbucks and not just wherever. This should just be something that we universally are able to achieve. And it's not right now. That's a problem, bro.
So do you believe that all avenues of media distribution should be free?
No, because
What's the difference?
it's not free to make.
What's
It's
the
not
di-
free to make.
But what's the difference?
It's not free to make. So I should have an opportunity to at least watch that. So now I got to
What do you
pay for
mean?
both.
What do you mean?
Look, man, like Wi-Fi is something everybody should have. You
like,
open. I'm saying
So
that's
Wi-Fi,
opening the doors.
Wi-Fi gives you the road to information, right? Just like a newspaper.
Education.
A newspaper is a platform to get information.
Yes.
Should all newspapers be free? Is that what you're saying?
You have to write it. Who's writing that Wi-Fi? Who's putting that up?
So the developer.
I pay
of that-
enough money in taxes.
So if I invented 5G, I should do it for free?
Listen, man, don't be surprised if European countries start giving out Wi-Fi free because
wouldn't
they
be surprised.
understand the value of it, and it's education, it's entertainment, it's a way of life.
So
It progresses
so
things.
Being that I'm a business and I have a staff of people that work for me that are connected to the internet, and we're downloading hundreds of hours of content every single day. I should have the same speed that you have at the house.
You sound like the same guy in Detroit
Answer
that
the
doesn't want to
question.
give these people water.
Answer the
I
question.
can't have water. I got to pay for water.
You're avoiding the
I got
question.
dirty water.
You're avoiding the question.
What's the question?
Again, I own a business. I have people working for me that download hundreds of hours of content every single day. So I should have the same download speed that you have when you're just a person at the house watching Netflix.
We should all be entitled because you can't make me pay for water. Why do you get
You're
clean
not
water?
answering the
I live in
question.
Detroit. Why do I get why do I have to have dirty water? That's gonna kill me because I live in Detroit.
We're not talking about.
But
about
Wi-Fi is turning into
or
water.
dirty water.
It's Wi-Fi is turning into that.
We're talking about bottled water. You're saying that the bottled water should be the same price.
Clean water. I'm just talking about clean water.
Yeah, but I don't understand. I don't
Clean
understand
water.
the
That's what
analogy
Wi-Fi
then.
is turning into.
I don't
That's
understand
why
your
Wi-Fi
analogy.
is turning into. So why do I need to pay money for that? Or why am I underprivileged because I can't afford that? I should be entitled to the same education.
I think it's
It's
two
hand in
different. I
hand.
think it's two different arguments that we're making. Like, it's not an argument of whether or not people should have access.
Can I not be educated?
People should have access to the internet. That's foundational.
but Achille,
we're
bro.
not talking about whether or not it's access or no access. We're talking about if you have a mobile device. We're talking about a mobile device. We're not talking about internet
Bro.
at the house. Mobile device
It's-
that you pay for. You pay for the device. Like, you buy the device. You don't have to have a cell phone. That's a luxury. You buy the device, and upon buying the device, you have access to 5G or less. That's what we're talking about.
It's getting to the point, man. It's getting to the point where it's education. It's getting to a point where it's growth. It's getting to a point
I don't know
in
what
this
you're saying
Wi-Fi
right
thing
now.
of where I see it going. So should everybody be entitled to the same education? Should we all have a chance to learn how to read, write, our basic rights as a part of a basic right?
Yes, everyone should be
And
entitled
what I'm saying within our
to
education,
forward their dreams and imagination.
within our education and within our opportunities, we're trending in a place where Wi-Fi is going to go hand in hand with those things. Paper
it already is.
Okay, so why can't I have Wi-Fi?
So then the next thing is, why can't I have a free cell phone? Why can't I have a free
kids
everything?
do. Kids do, and kids are getting
And
tablets, and kids have that
And kids
access.
have access to free internet too.
Man,
Like, I don't know what argument you're making, but we're gonna move on.
I'm just saying, bro, it's trending to that. I hear you that it's not
Like,
there right
it's a
now,
slippery
but it's
slope.
going to be
Well,
hand in hand.
I need free electricity to plug in my iPhone.
And
Like,
guess what?
when
And
does
guess
it
what?
stop?
iPhones
Like,
are dirt cheap now. You
when
can
does it
get an
stop?
iPhone 4 or an iPhone 5 darn near for
but
free.
Dirt cheap to you may not be dirt cheap to the next man.
It is, and it's accessible. That's why everybody has it. Everybody has the blue message. Cats had a blue message that didn't have it years ago.
Well, anyway, I'll tell you what company does have the message, and it's called Bigelow Aerospace. And this is a Las Vegas-based company, and what they do is they're manufacturing space habitats, literally building infrastructure in space, and they're trying to essentially create, livable environments for companies, for individuals, celebrities in space. And so their target customers, NASA, it's foreign countries, other private companies, but they want to exist in lower Earth orbit And this is pretty instrumental because we're talking about colonizing Mars. You're talking about getting more into space exploration. This company is saying that, hey, we will come in, we'll build the infrastructure for you. So if you need to get to space and have a space station or have a place to live, a space hotel, we could build it for you. What do you think about this?
I hear it, and I'm trying to wrap my mind about it. My mind, like, I'm a thinker, conspiracy theorist. I'm hitting the idea of the movies. Do they know something that I don't know?
Of course they do.
Is that going to be the new way of life once our Earth within the next, 15 or 20 years?
Define what you mean by new way of life.
Within the next 15 to 20 years, if the atmosphere is unbreathable, if we just continue to trash the planet, if global warming still exists at the rate that it's going, all those questions come to mind. Because if we hadn't paid attention, and I know there are some few more than others that know, like, our kids that are coming up, it's going to be pretty bad for them, this planet that they have to live on because of our greed. And it's trending to that. And I say that, and do they know that's something that we don't know? Is this something that we're going to have to do, or a chosen few of us may have to go on live on the moon, or go and survive as humankind in this station? And we keep playing around with this idea of the rich and the poor. Like, is this going to be a part of privilege, or is this just a billionaire's dream to say, I vacation on Mars?
So that's the question. So when we talk about space programs that started, in the 60s, like, it was government sanctioned, NASA, right? And so now it's becoming more privatized, where people like Elon Musk have their own money and are able to send rockets into space and build things in space. So should this be government regulated, or should it be privatized, where, hey, it might be me or you that has the company that's sending people to space because we developed the technology to do it? So that's the argument. People are saying, well, hey, it should be government first, and other people are saying, like, nah, like, I came up with the idea, I want to make the money off of it. I want to make money. I want to commercialize it. That's the argument.
We live in a world. We live in a world now where you have these tech companies taking over, and these entrepreneurs that are coming literally out of nowhere, and they have technology and resources that literally are innovating the way that we live, the way that we communicate. Technology has jumped, bro, within the last 5 years to a place that we never thought possible. I don't know if you've even I'm sure you have rode in a Tesla before, dude. Like, and it's crazy. It's like, where are we heading towards? So to just say that we leave that in the government's hands, I don't think is realistic. I don't think it's fair. Yes, the government needs to play a part in this, because this may be something that our kids, at least the government needs to be preserving our Earth, or giving us some type of B plan. They need to be hand in hand, or essentially letting cats know what they already know, because they know the numbers. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's greed right now. So I like this idea of a little bit of both. My answer is both. It should be a government thing, and these new tech companies, these entrepreneurs, these travelers, these future seekers and seers and foretellers should be able to be allowed individually to go onto the moon and create these kind of like fantasy places, or these places where it might be, hey man, like, we just trashed the Earth, we got to go kick it for about 20 years.
Hey, well, I'll tell you someone that is, that's had their own company, and I think that is an innovator, and an icon and dope, and that's Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon. And this, I don't know if you guys know about this, but this is pretty cool. He has built a 10,000 year clock. He's invested $42 million into building this clock in a hollowed out mountain in Texas. And I mean, the goal is to have this clock. It's a mechanical clock. It will run for literally 10,000 years. And so he's doing that, as a way to kind of inspire long-term future planning of humanity. And we talked about being environmentally conscious and just being more responsible for the planet. And so this clock is supposed to be a symbol of kind of like how we evolve as humans in 10,000 years. And so the clock is huge. It's like 500 feet tall. Like I said, it's built in a hollowed out mountain. What are your thoughts?
Bro, you can spend $42 million. You know how I feel about, like, you can spend $42 million on a clock.
Hey.
Like, there's so many hunger issues, so many educational issues.
It's true.
That I could take 1 million of those, 2 million, half of those, and spend it on.
So you're making
sorry,
you're making an ethical issue. So you're saying it's not good ethics that that money is being spent in something that you don't think is practical or useful. You don't think it's useful, is what you're saying.
You got to sell me, bro. I'm not sold on the clock just so we can say, in 2020 we innovated the flying car. In 2025 we did blah blah. Like, I don't know, bro. I'm just
So,
like there's so many more things.
So what about like an art project that costs millions of dollars? It's a piece of art. It really has no function other than to inspire us.
Millions?
It costs millions of dollars to put
make?
together. To make the materials, the time it took to assemble the materials, and it's just purely to inspire us or to make us imagine a better world or a different or something different. But someone invested a lot of money
You could put food in my belly, dog.
But where does that stop though? Where does that stop? Like,
where does what stop?
Why buy a $200 pair of shoes?
Education, flat out education.
Okay.
Educate me now. I buy my own shoes with that 42 million.
Okay.
Now I buy my own shoes. Maybe don't feed me.
So
educate me.
So being that $42 million is the price tag for this clock, so you wouldn't say, hey, buy a Rolex?
Nah, bro. Tell me what this clock does, cause you're all geeked up off this. Is it telling time?
It tells time, my man. It tells time.
So
and
what else?
It's synchronized by at solar moon. It's powered by day and night thermal cycles. It's a symbol of technology.
You hear yourself right now?
I'm not. Hey, listen, bro. I'm not advocating like this is like the dopest thing ever. I'm just saying, like, hey, my man got the money. My man is donating money all the time. I get what to a lot of.
How do you know?
Because we covered it on the show.
How do you know?
I just answered.
To what?
We covered it on the show.
Tell me.
A lot of organizations in the Seattle area.
I don't think you know.
I do know, and I just explained it to you.
Okay.
But I will explain.
Seattle's rich, dog.
I will explain this to you. The whole city ain't rich.
All of them. Go to Kansas City, bro.
The point is, as you try to derail the conversation, because you don't really have an intelligent take right now.
God.
I know the strategy, bro. The point is, my man, is that, hey, sometimes you build symbols to help inspire. And so sometimes the symbols cost money. Like, for instance, the symbol of, I'm sure, like the Lincoln Memorial cost at that time, like tons of money. It just sits there. It's a piece of stone, but it represents something to people. It's symbolic, right? So what's the difference?
What's tons of money? Not 42 million.
I bet you.
Not 42 million.
I bet you if it were built in 2018, it would cost around that amount of money. I bet you.
Nah, man. You could get
guaranteed.
get a couple hard workers out there, and they throw that plaster together.
Okay.
It's nothing but plaster.
Okay. Wow.
That's all it is, and some framework.
It's not just plaster.
What's it made of?
And that stuff,
fine metals.
That stuff costs money.
Like what? It's cheap, bro.
It's got marble in there. You never been in there? It's marble in there. It's all sorts of materials in there, bro.
Ain't no millions worth, dog.
Okay.
Ain't no millions.
Well, you get
worth.
the point, though. You get the point. Like, it's a building that people walk into. Like, it has no other function but for us to remember.
Is it really going to innovate you?
It might.
Stop it.
It might, bro.
Don't. It's a yes or no.
Wait.
Is it going to innovate you? Yes or no?
Innovate me, or do you mean inspire me? I don't know what innovate me means.
Make a brand new Achilles.
Okay.
Yes or no?
It may not for me, but it might for someone else.
Bro,
it might be.
You don't believe in it,
bro? It's not about what I believe. I'm recovering the story.
I asked you a question.
I answered you.
Thank you.
So you're with me. What was my answer?
No, it's not going to innovate you because you already dope.
No, you are just yapping away. Anywho, Fox News, your favorite network, is planning to launch a paid video streaming service later this year, and it's going to be called Fox Nation. Now we're in a streaming platform landscape. Obviously, we have Hulu, we have Netflix, we have YouTube, we have tons of platforms that are delivering amazing content for us. And so Fox News is getting into the game. And so this is going to include their Fox News channel with over 20 years of archival news footage. Do you think that? I'm sure you think that because you are a Fox lover. Do you think that there's a market for this? Do you think people will subscribe to this platform?
It is, and it's going to have to grow. It's going to have to get larger and larger. I like that they're realizing they got to compete with Netflix. Hopefully their movies are seen on it, the television content. Hopefully it's reasonable for people to actually watch and partake in. I don't know, maybe there's some copyright issues, things have to get redone, but I'd like to see a platform here that grows. And the more access we get, the more normal this is, the lower these prices are going to be. And Netflix has done an amazing job of setting the bar. And my hat goes off to Fox as one of the early networks to say, hey, let's start something. Let's compete. We see what's trending. We see what the people
Do
want.
you think
so
that
let's
they're
give it
too
to
late?
them.
Is it too late? Are they
Not
are
at
they
all,
too
bro.
behind?
Fox is such a large entity that they're everyone's
But
behind Netflix.
We're not talking about Fox. We're talking about Fox News, my man. It's a big difference. We're not talking about
True.
the whole entire.
But this is a tester for everything else. How this goes over and blows up and the exposure is there, everything else is going to essentially jump on board. So this is a great step in the right direction.
Not exactly, because everything else is owned by Disney now.
I don't think that it stops at Fox News, brother. If this does what it should do, I don't believe that it stops at Fox News.
So I mean, okay. So would you? So ESPN is launching, ESPN Plus subscription service.
Okay.
How much would be too much for you to pay for this service?
If it's just ESPN,
That's it.
I mean, I'm talking $1 a month. Like it's ridiculous. That's it. Because I'm comparing everything to my Netflix. Or essentially, you've got to buy me out of my cable bill.
So that's my point. So being that sports still is kind of king, like why would anyone pay for Fox News? Why would you pay for it?
Because it's
And
cheap.
what would you pay for it?
It's cheap. Maybe it's free. Maybe I'm getting it through ads.
It ain't gonna be free. It's a subscription service.
They got to come with some heat, brother.
Okay.
They got to come with some heat then. Pretty much.
I feel like they're kind of late in the game.
Why?
Why? Well, I get it. I mean, essentially, when you start a platform, a subscription service platform, you're trying to either create a new revenue stream and capture a particular audience. And so there is a particular audience that tunes in nightly to Fox News. And so whether or not what content is being displayed on that platform is beyond what you can get off regular television, I don't know. But if that content includes whatever, then it might be more attractive to a person that has an affinity to that content. However, you're already paying $10 a month for Netflix. You're already paying for all these other platforms. Like, why would you want that?
Do we know that Fox News won't have access to your sports? It won't be another brand of media?
No.
I know
from what I know, this is just Fox News as a standalone. That's it. Just Fox
I
News.
think it's going in the right direction. It may not be the right selling point per se that comes out with originally, but I like what's happening, and I think that we're going and we're trending the right way, and that's really what matters. Because first, Fox News is going to be there, then it'll be Fox Sports, then it'll be television shows. So you want to see these platforms go viral. You want to see them be accessible to people, and I think it only helps out guys like yourself that come out and produce content, because more people can see you, which means more money. You're just going to have to find out a different way, which I see, of tracking those streams and those uploads in which you share over to advertisers.
I like that. Good take. I can see you on that. All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing that is dope to me, or maybe it's to be determined. Spotify is developing its own music hardware. So beyond their platform and the software business, now they're expanding to actual hardware. I think this is interesting because Spotify, has, out of all the music streaming platforms, they have the most subscribers, and to be able to now get into I guess the different operational supply chain of now having hardware, where not only do you have the software, but now you also, almost kind of like what Apple has done. So you have the iPhone and you have Apple Music. Now you have Spotify and you have the Spotify player. Do you think that they can compete?
Yeah, no, they can, man. Like, you got to see these companies grow. And we look at Google, we look at, a couple of these other entities, and you can't limit yourself to just a music player, a cell phone, a search engine. All these different entities, they connect. And I like that Spotify also. I love, like I said earlier, when companies are reaching out to do more, because it gives you more access. That gives you something that may be a better way of doing something than we had before. And it's healthy for competition.
Yeah, definitely.
So you as a consumer, we get what we want when we want to go get a player or a network or we want to
Or
get some
5G,
software.
or 5G.
The more competition, the better. The more, the better, brother. Every city, every carrier. Let's get it.
All right, so my question though is like, honestly, like let's get down to it, like real talk. Like, do you see yourself buying a Spotify, like the Spotify comparison to like the Amazon Echo or the Google Home, where it's a Spotify device where it has voice control and you're able to play, hey, Spotify, play blah blah blah. Like, can you see yourself buying that?
Right now, no, but if they step their game up, it could be.
The Spotify speaker, really?
If it's offering me something different and it may push Google.
Do you have Spotify now?
I don't.
Exactly. So why
But it
the
could
heck
push
would you
it-
buy? Why would you buy a speaker then?
If they start killing the game, it could be something that I have to have. If the price point is cheaper and does everything better, it could be something I have to have, bro. So you cannot rule that out. Listen, competition is good. Competition is great for all these brands that are blowing up and doing everything else and just trying to step into uncharted waters. So take a dive with them, man. Hop off the boat with them. Figure it out.
Hey, I'll tell you what is not interesting to me is the story about Blackberry. Blackberry is still
Wow.
trying to like fight it out. They're still trying to like say, hey, we're here. So let me ask this a nostalgic question.
Oh my gosh.
You had the Blackberry?
Yes.
Well,
You had to.
all right.
You had no choice.
So is that college years?
Yeah.
Man, so you had the
Yeah.
you had the BBM, you did all of that. Blackberry was the truth,
That
right?
was like what's your pin? Like
Exactly.
that was like kind of the line. Like, yo,
Exactly.
shoot me your pin.
Right. Well, hey, I mean, we all know what has happened. BlackBerry, has kind of like all the way declined, and we entered into a Apple ecosystem, and now an Android ecosystem. But BlackBerry is still saying like, no, hey, we're still in the game. We still have people that want our devices. We still have people that are brand loyalists to us. Do you foresee them ever being a competitor again?
The way Apple's moving at the
Yeah.
rate they're moving
in
at?
the
We
in the
never-
smartphone mobile market, will they ever
we
be a
never
competitor?
know, bro. At the way and Apple's essentially stole the idea of BBM by saying with iMessage, that's really that it is. They just jacked the BlackBerry concept. But at the rate that Apple's going, you can never rule out another company.
BlackBerry, my dude, for real.
Did you know about
If-
BlackBerry before they came
If you're,
out?
if you're betting horses, you're betting the BlackBerry horse? Really?
I just said you never know. It's a mystery. You never know. You weren't rolling with Apple. You were a PC guy. Now you all Apple.
That's not true. That's not true. Definitely.
You
not
were
true.
never a PC guy?
Bro.
You just started off with Apple?
Man.
Stop
real
it.
Talk, real talk.
Stop it.
Listen,
Don't come on here
listen,
and tell no.
Listen.
Don't
listen.
lie, bro.
Bro, like my parents were both educators. You know this.
Respect,
My dad
for
was a sixth
sure.
grade teacher. My mother was a high school counselor. And we didn't have much growing up, but what they did stress in the home was education and giving us whatever resources we had to develop our minds. So if it was books or computers or whatever it was to foster us intellectually, they busted their ass to get that. So we may not have had the coolest shoes or clothes or whatever, or had access to things, but we did have stuff to learn at the house. And one thing that they gave us was an Apple computer from back in the day, my man.
Oh my
Been
God.
Apple since day one. What you gotta say?
I don't believe that you didn't have a PC.
I had a PC in college. I'm not gonna lie. But that was before the MacBooks came out, my man. Like, what you want me to do?
I'm just saying, man, like you don't know what could or couldn't be.
I'm not betting on the BlackBerry horse, bro.
I mean, right now that's a tall mountain to climb. But if you've seen, as you know, in today's society, if they come out with something innovative enough, they take a big enough risk that connects your phone to something that we hadn't seen before, or it's just doing something nuts. Because really, Apple started with the iPod, and they're like, well, iPhone, blend the two. Then they just ran with it, and they were innovating. So a BlackBerry can sum up and merge some type of concept or something that we use all into your phone and a smartphone. You don't know what could manifest from that because it could be something that you have to have. There's some form of technology that we use that can blend and change the game of phones. And if
Okay.
BlackBerry's ahead of that, it could be them.
Okay, so Ryan Hollins has become the BlackBerry spokesman.
Stop it. That's not said if.
Overnight.
So you don't hear if?
Yeah, and you can put an if over anything.
When did you
But
become a hater?
Who cares?
When did you become a hater?
You go to the horse race. You go to Santa Anita. You're not betting on the BlackBerry horse, bro. You're just not. So just
When
keep
did
it
you become a
100.
hater,
Keep
though?
it 100.
When did you become
When
a
did you
hater?
when did you not keep it real?
I thought you were a dreamer.
When did you not keep
I'm
it real?
100 right now.
No, you're not betting on that.
You're not a
horse, though.
dreamer? I don't know when I've never known you not to be a dreamer. And that's what I hear right now.
I am the dream.
Oh my gosh. Are you, is this rolling right now? Oh my gosh.
Anywho, I'll tell you one thing, bro.
Talk to me, man.
Sling TV is on the climb. They are rising. They have now 2.21 million subscribers, and they are like killing the game. I know that their subscription cost is about $30, $35. And I mean, they are like raking in the money. They're talking about, quarterly revenues in the billions. And obviously they're owned by Dish. But hey, they are really coming, for like YouTube TV and Hulu coming at their throats. And so I don't think you have Sling TV at the house, but hey, a lot of people say it's dope. And I want to see what you thought about it. You think Sling TV is going to be that competitor of choice?
First off, you got to explain it to me. So is this essentially Slingbox?
Yeah.
But it's called Sling TV now?
Yeah, exactly.
I love the concept. I just never got fully into it. I had it. Somebody messed around with it. I moved, and then I never really got it set back up again.
Got you.
So
what do you have at the house?
Is it the same thing?
Like, you're still cable at the house?
Basic cable.
Okay, got it.
Basic cable.
So no Direct TV now, no Sling TV. You got straight
Basic
Spectrum.
Cable. Yes.
Okay.
But wouldn't your Sling TV apparently work with that, or is it its own entity?
No, it's
now?
owned by Dish. It's owned by Dish.
And then you pretty much can watch wherever.
Exactly.
But with Spectrum, I can log in and watch TV. It's just like the buffering issues are a headache.
It is. I have Spectrum as well, which I think sucks.
Have you watched TV on the phone or an event somewhere?
Nah, to be honest, I haven't.
Sign in. You can sign in on the app. You got your password?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, I record shows from the phone. I recorded.
But you can watch too.
I know. Well, I mean, it's like I don't really watch that much television in the first place. Like, I'm talking about like network television.
That's because you're not that creative.
Network television. You're right. I'm not really creative at all.
No.
Exactly. I don't even know. How do you spell creative? Like, what is that? What does that mean? To be creative.
It's just not for you.
It's not for me.
No.
I'm gonna take your word.
You should give up, since Blackberry can't be dreamers.
Exactly. Precisely. You know what? 5G is not for me either.
I mean, if it's not for you, it shouldn't be for everybody.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'll tell you what is for everybody, and that's Black Panther. You agree?
So we could watch Black Panther, but you can't get 5G.
Do you agree?
Why can't 5G be for everybody?
Do you agree?
Are you gangbanging on me?
Black Panther, my man.
So what if
Give
I'm
me your
the guy?
Quick takes. Black Panther.
No,
go.
I don't want to be quick. What if I'm the guy who says I didn't want to watch Black Panther?
I need to hear it. Quick takes.
What if
Black
I didn't
Panther.
want to see it?
Oh, sorry, you lying? You didn't see it?
I said, what if?
No. Did you see the movie?
Am I going to be crucified?
Did you see the movie?
Are you pulling my card?
I'm asking your takes.
Listen, it was nothing like we've ever seen. It hit on so many deeper issues that I hope didn't go over a lot of people's heads.
Elaborate.
You want me? What do we? How much you want me to elaborate?
Go in, bro. I want to hear your takes. Give me a good take. What did you dislike about Black Panther?
Full on, I loved everything about it. There's just an understanding, and in so many different music videos, we see that black isn't beautiful, and it's absolutely amazing. And you saw this fantasy of this African city, man, that just was technologically above all else, and that at the same time they denied the other blacks, the other African Americans, or whoever that came from the heritage. And essentially there's this line that like, yo, open your eyes and see that we all brothers and sisters. Let's get along. You're just as beautiful and amazing as everybody else, and really promoted peace and understanding. And it touched on a lot of pain, man, a lot of pain. So some of those characters absolutely represented so much. And Black Panther was actually this young king, man, who just promoted change and was willing to tell his father that his old ways are wrong by not accepting the African American race, and that how beautiful the African race was, and what it seems to us as the most poorest country on the earth, or places that are poor and out of despair, man. It really just shed light that, man, these people are beautiful, man. Black is beautiful. Like this is amazing. And I had never seen in a movie of Marvel or of that magnitude, black portrayed like that, man. So I think it was just amazing to see. It was just really cool to see, and it called out a lot of things, man, that we haven't seen in movies, and I just liked it. I don't care what color you are, what race, what creed, man. You can't have seen that and not seen art behind it and seen how amazing that movie actually was.
Definitely.
Are you happy? Is that my take? Is my take good?
That was the best take you've done since you've been on the show.
Oh my
Since you've been on the
gosh,
show. How many times have you been on the show?
stop
Anyway,
I'm looking.
I completely
Shouts out to White Panther. When is he coming out?
Completely agree with you. Well, I feel like this was a moment in time. I feel like, you know, it was legacy building. It was inspirational. It was a conversation starter. But I think the most important thing or takeaway for me is just the symbolism behind the movie, having, you know, a $200 million budget that's never been given to, you know, an African American director before, to be able to have that budget to be creative with and to be able to create something that's so meaningful and spiritual and just thought provoking. I think it's just amazing, like how women were represented in terms of being strong and protectors, and like really, I mean, I think the women characters in this movie like really sold it for me. Like the girl who was the technologist, her name is Letitia Wright. Like, I think she was awesome. Just like having someone that is like so young but so smart to help inspire other young girls and other young men to be scientists and engineers and mathematicians. Like, you have so many layers of this movie. You have like family dynamics. You have like just all the cultural references that you saw in terms of like the wardrobe and the outfits, and just. There's just so much to talk about, so many things to take away, and I think we're going to be talking about it for a long time. And yeah, I mean, besides the fact that it like broke records and it's already raked in $425 million globally, it's on pace to be, like I said, the first black movie to reach $1 billion. I think it's phenomenal. But yeah, man, like, what did you think about what did you think about the technologist character in the movie? I think her name was Shuri. Yeah.
Talking about Little Sister?
Yeah, Little Sister.
She was amazing, man. And you had to sit back and say, we've never seen an African woman, I don't even want to say African American, and I think it kind of dispels that, because it's like, oh, you're African. No, you're African American. It was like, nah, man, you came from the same place. Like, we brothers and sisters, wherever you are in the world, whatever your struggles are, we got our struggles too. Like, we're all like one, like everybody's one. And then it wasn't like, to me, it's crazy. Am I wrong? Like, it wasn't just a black peace movie. It was just a peace movie. Like the secret agent that was in the movie, I'm not sure who played that role, but he was just as embraced as everybody else. It wasn't like, what's this white guy doing? It was like
the CIA agent.
Yeah, it was like, no, this is peace for everybody. This isn't just a black thing. This isn't your African American.
Definitely,
that's your descent.
Definitely peace for everybody. But it was, I think, most meaningful to us because we never had that type of representation on screen before.
Absolutely,
at such a large level. And to be, I mean, you could see that just what's happening culturally in every city. People dressing up. People. But having these conversations.
I've also felt, Akili, that sometimes we go so pro-black on certain movies that it's too pro-black. It's almost like black pride doesn't mean that I hate somebody else or I don't like everybody else. Yeah,
but
you know what I'm saying?
I haven't seen anything about black pride that as it relates to this movie that communicated hate.
What I'm saying is that it absolutely doesn't.
People.
I'm saying that it absolutely doesn't. There's no element like, I don't care who you are, you can't watch that movie and not feel good and not appreciate these people.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it from my perspective. My perspective as a black man in America, to have something that, from a young black boy's perspective, to look up and see someone that's a superhero, like that scene where he's in Oakland, he said, nah, about that building, and that building, and the spaceship comes in and just inspires these young kids.
Absolutely.
They're like, what is that?
That's
like,
dope.
That is something that is going to be happening in reality. Like, okay, hey, this is a figure that someone that has respect, that's respectable, that has propriety, that's responsible.
What I'm saying
like,
is
that's going to inspire other kids to want to be invested in learning about mathematics and science and technology.
Listen, unfortunately, I feel like there have been black movies that come out before that alienate everybody else, and sometimes it was in a weird place where it's like, yeah, these movies are going to alienate everybody else.
What do you mean by that? You got to unpack that one. I don't know what that means. And what movie is that?
I feel like there's certain movies that were out that if you are a white individual or you may be of Spanish descent or you're not black, you may have felt like this movie is not for you. You may have been turned off by that certain movie. Oh, it's like, to me, this was just, not only was it just pro-black, it's beautiful, it was just everybody. Everybody could appreciate
Ryan,
this. I don't care who you are.
I don't think you realize that most of the movies in Hollywood, if you go with that argument, most of the movies in Hollywood are alienating.
And I never said it wasn't. So I feel like it was an answer for an answer. And I felt like Black Panther was the right piece. It was the right segue, if that makes sense. It was the right opening, and it didn't alienate anybody. And I'm not saying those other movies don't alienate. We all know the joke. Why does the black guy get killed first in the horror movie? Or why is a black girl portrayed in a bad light? Or why is the black guy, why can't he speak English properly? Why isn't he smart? Why isn't he intelligent? We've seen this over and over again, so I'm not saying that. So what I'm saying is this was that peace offering. This was that just a beautiful movie that I don't care who, what, where. To me, it wasn't an answer to those movies that alienate black folks. It was just a beautiful movie. Does that make sense?
It was a beautiful movie to represent black people.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
But that's the main point of the movie. Hence why there's only 2 white characters in the movie, and it's showing all these cultural nuances about our African culture. Like, it's not showing anything else. It's showing our garb, it's showing rituals, it's showing ceremonies, it's showing our love and respect for elders, it's showing our love and respect for ancestors. It's showing all sorts of things that are specific to African culture. So it's celebrating that, but it's not ostracizing anyone.
That's my point.
Yeah, but the focus of the movie is to give a point of view, a point of view to who we are, because we don't really see the beauty of who we are in Hollywood filmmaking. And so this is an opportunity where $200 million was spent where we got to see that. And that's why people are celebrating in the way that
we're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing.
Okay, my man.
We're saying the same thing, brother. It was beautiful.
Yes, sir.
We're saying the same thing.
All right.
I don't care what race you are, you will watch that movie and enjoy it.
100%.
And love it.
100%.
And it's not like, this isn't for you. You can watch that and you can love it and you can enjoy it.
But I think in a general sense, like most Marvel movies have that intention. The movies is for everyone to enjoy.
True.
But I think what's different about this movie is that it had more of a social political commentary,
Absolutely.
which we don't really see in Marvel movies. And the social and political commentary was native to what we're dealing with as black men and black women in this country and throughout the world. That's the key difference. And so we never had a movie where it lionizes us. It showcases who we are as superheroes, but it also deals with some of the things that we're trying to work on and that we have worked on. Like, there hasn't been a movie that's been able to do that.
No.
In such an entertaining way.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, and it was entertainment. We're saying the same thing, bro.
For sure.
We're saying the same thing.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, we have one last story to get to. This is like a really crazy story. So there's this bizarre reality special coming from Netflix where it tries to get people to commit murder. Have you heard of this? This is wild. So the special is called The Push. And essentially, the host is Darren Brown, who is a mentalist and illusionist, and he essentially does things to help people want to push to make someone, like I said, to make someone want to commit murder. And so
you gotta break this one down.
I know, it's crazy to me. It's a group of 70 highly orchestrated actors who put a poor guy named Chris in a situation where he feels murder is his only option. And so this is a situation where he has to figure out what to do, and all his options are kind of gone. And the only option that he has left is to want to commit murder. And so this is the special to see kind of like how psychologically like he unravels to do this. But do you think this is a cool thing?
I'm really quite confused. So this guy's in essentially reality?
It's reality.
And there's actors around him. So if he kills one of the actors,
I don't think he actually
sounds like a problem. But how do we know it's reality, right?
It's reality. Everyone's an actor besides him. And so he's put in a situation where all he feels he can do in order to come out of the situation is to commit murder.
I don't know how to feel about this.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, how do you know he's not going to kill somebody on the show?
Right.
Or is that the tease of it?
Hey,
like that's just not legal, or it's too fake to me because you can't kill somebody.
Man, I don't know, but I mean that is the concept of the show. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know how it's going to conclude, but that's That's kind of like the impetus behind it. But do you think that's too edgy for Netflix? Do you think that is something that you would like, it piques your interest? Like, I want to see what's going on. Do you think Netflix kind of developing content in the reality space is a good move for them? Kind of give me your thought vomit on that.
I've already said earlier, man, that I love to just push the limits and experiment because you never know what could work. Things that the Netflix has been putting out, they're just putting out a lot of content, which is amazing. I question the thought of this guy being able to kill somebody. It's interesting, the thought of 70 actors that you interact with every day to influence you, kind of drive you crazy, like a real life Twilight Zone kind of deal, like a Truman story, you know. I've always felt like reality TV was always fixed. So how like realistic this is to me, like how's this guy not an actor? Like, I don't know. I'm really confused to that, and I don't like getting played. Like, I want to feel like there's something organic going on and organic happening. But when you talk about murder, is something I don't want to see happen. So how that really spills out or how realistic it is, I don't know. I'm very confused by hearing it. But ultimately, I really like, Akili, that Netflix is venturing out to try something different.
Yes, sir. So before we wrap it up, kind of like give me the content that you are digesting right now. What are you watching right now?
Carbon Copy. I've been kind of like falling asleep to that. It's a little wacky to be falling asleep to, which is probably why I've been having all these bad dreams lately. Have you watched it all?
I haven't.
I want to refer to you. It's really futuristic.
Carbon Copy?
Is it Carbon Copy or
Altered
Carbon?
Altered Carbon.
Oh,
Netflix. I love it. I finished it.
You finished it?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a alternate reality, bro.
It's all the technology.
I haven't finished it. I'm still wrapping my brain around it.
I finished the whole thing. It's
there's
amazing.
nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, it's really.
And I mean, guys like us that like technology and we're futurists, like it's right up our alley.
Can I be honest with you though? Can we always keep it 100? I just feel like they bit Westworld, and it's a spinoff of a Westworld like type concept that people fell in love with. In that I can really abuse this human body that it's not quite a body.
Exactly. Well, it asks the question, like, what makes us human? Is it our body or is it our thoughts, our mind? Like our consciousness. And so that's what the show is arguing, that our consciousness can live forever.
Bodies to acknowledge what I say.
No, so it's a bite. You're saying it's a bite from
I
Westworld?
felt like they kind of bit the concept of Westworld because that's the only thing else that I've seen.
I feel like this one's more rooted in technology, though.
It's a difference, bro. But in Westworld, you have these robots that are essentially like real, and you interact with them, and it's almost like blending lines, and you kind of like, who really are you? But it's this concept of the human body isn't the human body that Westworld really like just ran with.
But I think with Altered Carbon is dealing more with a spiritual argument by man.
There are different undertones.
Man playing. Well, actually, it's both.
I feel like
man is playing God in both. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like man is substitute for God because, like, hey, how it was before this technology of developing the sleeve was that you would die.
It's essentially saying God is dead.
Exactly. You would die
Yeah.
and your spirit would go wherever it would go, right? Now they're saying, hey, you can die 100 deaths and we can still bring you back
Pretty
1,000
much.
yees from now.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting concept to explore, though.
It is an amazing concept, and for me, it's definitely faith strengthening of why God Almighty is God Almighty. But when I watch, I just feel like Westworld, bro, because you question the integrity of being human, if that makes sense. Like,
well, I think it
if you
redefines.
knew,
It redefines what
like
being
almost like I
human
just
is.
blow your head off and it doesn't mean anything, or I send this me out and to do this and this me out and to do that. Like, it really questions of what you're doing, and like you said, like how important is the body if your mental is there, because you see these people's same mental just with different sleeves. And if you haven't seen the show, a sleeve is another word for essentially human body. It's just it's as simple as this is a sleeve on your mind.
But think about, like, there's scenes where there is like an adult consciousness in a child body, or
Yes.
there is a woman consciousness in a man's body.
Yes.
Like all those things are mind blowing.
No, I like it. I love it. But I'm saying, like, I felt like, yo, like y'all bit Westworld because y'all know I'm fancied by that, and then you gave me something else, which I don't mind. I love the show.
Hey,
I love the show,
I think
bro.
Altered Carbon is a little different because, like I said, the technology. We're dealing with virtual reality. We're dealing with
you
like
think-
the communication
True.
systems in our body. Like,
But Brody, do you think if there was no Westworld, we'd have Altered Carbon still? I don't know if I can say that.
I don't know how long this has been in development. So I mean, who's to say?
Let's pull it up. I feel like it was like these two concepts were so similar. And I get it, like in Hollywood, it's like, well, if it works, we want another concept similar. We understand that. Reality show, everybody reality show. It's popular. Let's run with it. Like, I get it. I know that's how Hollywood works. And I wonder if this was it, and they just know that Ryan Hollins and Akili really liked Westworld, and then they gave us something different, but just like a mind trip.
I want to see what you have to say after you watch the whole thing, because I consumed everything. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. So,
I like it so much. Like,
well, I mean, how many are you in?
I don't want it to end. I think I'm about 70% through.
Okay.
And like, I keep going back 2 episodes back because like I haven't been able to watch straight through.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to miss. And my mans would just change who he is in a minute, and you're like, which one is which?
Right.
So you got to stay on it. So
Hey,
I'm like going back and watching again, like purposely not trying to miss nothing.
Hey man, for those of you who have not peeped it,
Are you mad you haven't finished? You have finished?
I mean, dude, like,
Are you salty?
I'll be honest. Like, when I did finish it, I was like, dang, what am I gonna watch next? I was watching an episode per night. I'm like,
Dang.
man, like I wish there was another episode. It was
bar
that
is real
good.
high. The
But
bar is
anyway,
real high right
I
now.
encourage all of y'all out there who have not even seen one episode to go check it out. It's called Altered Carbon on Netflix. It's phenomenal. If you like technology and
Yes.
science fiction, like this is a really dope concept. Yeah. And with that being said, man, as always, I appreciate you coming on the show.
My
But
man.
where can the folks find you, man? Kind of tell people what you're doing.
On Instagram, Ryan Hollins. On Twitter, The Ryan Hollins. I got a podcast out called The Swirl. I'm all over the place, man. Your boy is hitting stadium basketball games, ESPN television, ESPN radio. Did some stuff with Fox Sports. Did some stuff with LA 570, man. So I'm all over the place. Got Jamaican in my blood, man. The hustle is strong right now. That's what's going down, man. So check your boy out, man. Make sure you support. Appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all, man. There's nothing like it, man. Thank you for letting me ramble on the show again, man.
Hey, like I said, it's great to have you on. That'll do it for today. Y'all can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Akili Shine, AKILISHINE, and we will be back next week with some more hot topics and great conversation. Y'all be safe out there.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.